Dear learners, welcome to my lecture once again. Today I will give focus on tense, once again on tense, and today I will try to discuss on past indefinite tense. In spoken English, we use quite a lot past indefinite tense, but when we use past indefinite tense, we need to know certain things because quite often it is a bit confusing with present perfect tense as well. So in my lecture, I think hopefully you will be able to distinguish, or at least you will be able to use past indefinite tense precisely or perfectly. Okay, let's start now. What is past indefinite tense? Past indefinite tense is something that happened in the past at a specific time. So somehow you need to relate the incident with the past time. For example, it could be it happened, but when? You need to answer that question. That is crucial, that is important. Maybe something happened yesterday, but if you say just a happening and if you do not mention the time, in that case it will become present perfect tense, like it has happened. But to use the same sentence or to express anything with past indefinite tense, you need to mention the time, like something happened yesterday. So that yesterday is mandatory to use with past indefinite tense. Here I have also written like yesterday, it could be yesterday, last year, last night, maybe ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 5 years ago, whatever. And then sometimes we also use clause like when I was a kid or when I was a child. Okay, somehow you link it with past. Okay, and also maybe in 1971, 1991, anything like at the moment 2016 is going on, so anything before that could be past indefinite tense. Maybe during 70s you are talking about a past decade, or could be here, this is very interesting, like Shakespeare, Pele, Maradona. These people are not, maybe Shakespeare is died, he is no more. So whenever you talk about his a contribution to literature, you have to say or you have to write in past tense. Similarly, Pele, Maradona, they do not play anymore for their country. So if you want to say something about them and about their contribution to their countries in regards to football, then you use past indefinite tense. All right? Okay. Now let us think about the structure. The structure is very easy. Unlike present indefinite tense, you don't need to worry about S or ES. Here it is very simple. Okay, you see, we just need a subject, but that subject has to be a non-living being. Quite often that subject should be should have a life or something like that. The subject, it should be active. Okay, more precisely. So you need a subject, you need a verb, and the verb should be in past form. We know that there are 3 forms of verb: present, past, past participle, and we will use the middle one like play, played, played. So the middle one is played, even though the last one is same, it doesn't matter that much. So maybe he played when? He played in 1986 for his country. So that 1986, if you talk about precisely for Maradona, we don't need to mention. We understand that he played in the past. Okay, that's not mandatory. But quite often, as we mentioned, it is mandatory to link with the past time. All right? Okay. So subject, verb, that is past form, and an extension. Okay, So let us make some sentences to give us a better understanding. For example, yesterday. So you can say, I went to my village. So went came from or derived from go. So go, went, gone. So we are using the middle one. Alright. Say I went to my village when? Yesterday. Otherwise, if you don't use yesterday, I am saying once again, it is not going to be past indefinite tense. Similarly, last year. Maybe you visited Cox's Bazar last year. That I visited Cox's Bazar last year. But I have written something different here. That he visited China last year. So if you just say that I visited China, so no, it's not going to be a proper past indefinite tense. Okay, right? If you don't use that last year, it's better to say that I have visited China. You are giving an information, and when you give information to someone, then it's better to use present perfect tense, not past indefinite tense. I think you understand a bit better now. Similarly, ago, okay, that she met me a year ago. You are talking about somebody who met you a year ago. That she met me a year ago. Then when I was a kid. So you are trying to link another clause with when I was a kid. So it's quite understandable that when I was a kid, it means that you are saying something that happened at a particular time in the past. For example, you can say I lived in Canada. Maybe you lived in Canada with your parents, and later you came back to Bangladesh or anywhere. So then you can express yourself by saying that I lived in Canada when I was a kid. Likewise, in 1971, obviously we understand that something happened in 1971. Maybe I was not born obviously in 1971, so I didn't fight for the country, but some people obviously fought for our country. So if you want to say anything about a freedom fighter, you need to say like not I, let me correct it, that he fought in 1971. All right. Similarly, Shakespeare, as I discussed earlier, Pele, Maradona. For Shakespeare, if you want to say anything about him, like Shakespeare wrote many plays, and then you can also add some other things, but it is not mandatory to use time. These are a little bit exceptions, but we can easily understand that. Similarly, Pele, Maradona, right? I have just written one sentence for Pele, that Pele played many matches for Brazil, but Pele is still alive. Maradona is still alive, but they are not involved in playing sports for their country or for their national team. So that's why, because they are retired. They are retired and Shakespeare is no more. So if you want to talk about in these kinds of situations, we will still use past indefinite tense. Okay, thank you very much for being with me.